In this video, I thought it was time for a bit of a state of the fleet address, and we're going to start with the Daihatsu because obviously people are going get the Daihatsu fix, and as you can see, there has been progress. We've got headlights, we've got the front slam panel on. We've just discovered we're missing one of the corner pieces that holds the bumper to the car. This piece here. So I'm going to have to see if I can find one of those online. We've just no idea where it is for the other side. So that is a problem. We can't actually attach the bumper without that. We've bought new trim clips variously. There's a bag of them here somewhere to reattach the bumper. And I'm at the moment waiting for some araldite to set on my repair for the brake servo line. So hopefully that will work. I remain to be convinced, but my thinking is if we can get it decent, even if there's a bit of an air leak, we can then smear something around to seal it proper. But it's better than having nothing. So there is progress, but it's just frustratingly slow. There's a lot of waiting time, waiting for stuff to cure, waiting for more parts, but we are getting there. I'm very hopeful that this week we might actually manage to drop Shemi off the jacks and take her for a drive, but got to get that brake system sorted first. And there's a lot of under trims and things that it makes sense to do while she's still up on the stand, which is why she's still up on the stand. So I know people are desperate for this thing to be finished, but we are getting there. It's just slow old work. You'll have seen that yesterday we were doing the headliner in Betty again, or headlining. So that's what's going on there. Poor Tuk. It's Tuk's 50th anniversary this year. I'm trying to work out what we're going to do together. I had hoped to get her smartened up, but I think that's going to be a job next year. I think it is probably time to jump into a full restoration on Ellie, on Tuk rather. Take her off the road and sort her out properly. Get the doors repaired because this one's broken to the point you can't really use it. And that's technically an MOT fail if she had an MOT. That's not ideal. You can use it, you can get out in an emergency, but the door flops around because the bracketry is broken. It all needs sorting out. The engine's leaking, the transmission's awful. There is a lot to do, but I do still hope to have one big adventure in Tuk before the year is out. Gazelle over here may be joining the list of sawned vehicles because she's still needing a ball joint, CV joint, and something else, the exhaust blowing. There's a few little jobs that are stopping me using Gazelle as daily transport. She had her little run. There was a wheel bearing going as well, but it's probably time to take stock. We're not too far away from chucking salt on the roads again, so Gazelle will probably come off the road for the winter. Ellie, the problem with Ellie, I thought I was going to have an engine lined up, but that didn't come through, so I don't have an engine, I don't have a replacement engine, and I suspect the crankshaft's done in. I do have, somewhere in here, a complete engine in bits, so it is in theory possible to take that engine out, take it apart, and rebuild it with a new crank, but I don't really know what's involved in doing that. I've never done that before. I've done barrels and pistons, very easy on the 2CV, but anything more involved, I'm a bit unsure. I mean, the dream, I think, would be to go 720 with a Pete Sparrow kit, but that's not a cheap option. By the time it's tuned and in the car and all sorted out, you're probably looking at the best part of about £4,000 for one of those. So it's not really an affordable option. I can't afford anything. I can't even afford just a bog standard engine, which would be about 1,500 quid for a complete recon, ready to go, drop it in engine. Yeah, that's just not an option at the moment. So Ellie's just on the back burner, and I miss this car so much. So yeah, that's rather disappointing. The Matiz is just off the road just because I don't really need it on the road at the moment. Bella the Berlingo, Betty the Fairmont are sharing the daily mileage between them rather unevenly, I must admit. So on the one hand, it'd be good to get her out, but she's not running right, and I'm not entirely sure what the rush is, but who knows, maybe I'll move Gazelle back to more of a resting position and Myrtle can come out. I really must get a car cover as well, get Gazelle clean and then put her away dry with a car cover on, because she has such beautiful paint under all this mank, and cats keep jumping on her and all sorts. So yeah, needs sorting out. So yeah, maybe I will get Myrtle out, just so I've got another cheap run around. But then if we get the Charade back on the road, which we should be able to do fairly soon, then that's our cheap little run around. So Myrtle is slightly redundant. This is my issue. My attachment to this car is purely personal because I bought this car brand new, sold it, bought it back. 18 years later, it's not really a practical relationship I have with that car. The Oltcits still at the back here. There's been a little interest, but no one particularly interested. Obviously I would like to sell the two together, but obviously I would split. Yeah, that's not the Oltcits oil stain. That's from the Yugo, which we saw this very weekend. So I may be forced to actually sort the Oltcit out and make it a better sales prospect, but it's just where that fits in the list of jobs to do. We've got to get this one finished first of all. We are edging closer, so that'll be a major moment. It'll be very, very pleasing. Meanwhile, if we head outside, Miss Hubnut is frantically trying to clear out Bella after our last outing. Being used as family wagon, not very good for the inside of a car. I do hope when funds allow to buy one of those, is it a Bissell, sort of watery vacuumy things. I have a vacuum, I don't have a watery vacuum. It will suck wet up, so another option is to soak the seats and then use the vac to try and suck the delicious juice out of the seats. But yeah, no, let's not think about that. But we've done 6,000 miles in Bella de Berlingo already, which I find slightly astonishing. It's a sign of A, just how much I like driving it, and B, how well it works as the family wagon. And yeah, that's quite remarkable mileage. But of course it's saving a fortune because Betty over here is not doing the mileage. Betty is just yeah, she's kind of gone into semi-retirement lately. We took her home last night for a bit of a blast, and if I've got any long jobs where I'm not going to be camping with Bob, then I will be tempted to use Bella and Betty rather. And yeah, she'll drink more fuel, but you know, it's luxury motoring. She's got a really nice stereo, all that sort of good stuff. And Foxvan is just sat here. This is why I think Foxvan needs to go, because poor Foxvan just sat here outside because we've run out of room inside. That'll change with a Charade coming out. And yeah, we just I don't have any need for this vehicle. So I know people are upset, but I think Foxvan may have to go. So if you'd be interested in Foxvan, then do drop me an email, ian@hubnut.org. I was asking 2.5 earlier this year, but looking at the market, that was probably a bit much. But you never start with what your lowest point is, do you really? You start with a starting point and hope people will work down to it. So she is going to need some engine work, but galvanized chassis, plastic body, the paint holding up remarkably well really. Yeah, if you're interested, let me know. Good little project for someone. Just sadly we just too many vehicles, can't concentrate on them all.
The big one to get in would be Betty.
Yeah, I would like to take Betty. Betty is starting to suffer in a few places from corrosion. I think I've shown you in previous videos. Even though she's been waxed, there's some areas that weren't waxed, sort of roofy sort of area, but do need attention. And it would make more sense just to get her off the road and stop covering her in salt.
Needs to come in, Shemmy needs to come out. So
yep.
That means we've got two out, Bella and Shemmy as a regular.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's Betty and Bob that need to come in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody want an Oltcit?
Yeah, there's definitely deals to be done, I think, just because space is becoming so desperately needed. But
I love you, Daddy, but ignore the price he said, because like, please, just take the Oltcits.
No, don't take them. I'm not giving them away. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of where we are at the moment. So yeah, we've been up here, we've done some work today. We've got to wait for things to set, order some parts, and then hopefully we can get old Shems back on the road. And it just becomes another headache. I mean, that many cars, trying to keep on top of servicing, MOTs. I can't afford to tax them all at the same time, so there's always going to be some off the road. Some cars are free, but this is the only car I have that is free road tax.
And I know I am like knocking the Oltcits, but in reality, you know, I do want them to go to a good home.
Well, yeah, we do. That itself is always the problem. But yeah, there we go. Right. That's the end of this one. That's where we are. There will be an update coming soon on this car. It covers work we did some weeks ago, work we've done more recently. So yeah, stuff is going on. I'm just sorry it isn't happening more quickly. And yeah, we shall see you in a future video. Farewell.